Yeah. Yeah. Over at that gate. There we go. What up, my fellow Americans and non-Americans? Red, white, and blue in this bitch. Come on in here, chat room. Felt like sitting on my porch instead of in my studio today. So today we're gonna talk about. I saw something online today. Let me know if y'all in here. Let me know if y'all up in here, chat room. I see 23 of y'all up in this bitch. Let me close this door. I don't want weed smoke getting all up in the house. I don't want that weed smoke getting up in the house. Sitting here on my porch, I haven't redone up yet. This shit is looking terrible, but this gonna be looking real. This porch gonna be looking right in about 30 days. But yeah, today I'm what we talked about yesterday when we were talking about Juneteenth. And oh, you got a notification. That's what's up. That's rare. We're gonna be talking about like going further into what we talked about yesterday as far as Juneteenth went. How one incident can spoil it for all black people. Well, not really spoil it. It didn't spoil shit for me, but how so many black people are just so self-loathing that if one person screws up, we all feel the need to apologize. I gotta talk more about that, man. I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of that behavior. And then, if you look at the description, I have a link to where the lights at. It was something that Dr. Umar said on an interview, and Dr. Umar, you know, he says a lot of dope shit. You know what I mean? He said some questionable stuff, but like anybody else, I'm 100% sure there are things that I say that all of y'all out there that from time to time are questionable. Because at the end of the day, we all have our own perceptions and our own points of views and our own ways of modalities of thinking, to where when someone else says some things, is guaranteed people who talk a lot, we're going to say things that go against people who listens modality of thought, even if overall you may agree with them on something. So I don't want nobody to take this as me saying like, oh, Dr. Umar is a coon or he's wrong. Fuck all that. It just, I disagree with a particular thing that he said on this interview. I agree with him when he's talking about the dynamics between black men and black women, but I didn't agree with the reparations part. And I agree overall. This is what he said. Let me shut up. Let me say what he said. And if you got, I'm on my phone now, so I can't play it for y'all. But if y'all go to my description, there's a link to that part on Twitter where that segment, that clip. Dr. Umar basically said that, you know, black people, when it comes to reparations, you know, it's a lot of things that we can fix within our own society. And I agree. There's a lot that we can fix. A whole lot that we could fix. But just because we quote unquote buy Jordans, just because we quote unquote buy too much cologne or all of, because he used the whole we spend $2 billion on Jordans trope. I'm so tired of the Jordans trope. Like, man, I own Jordans, but I don't have a whole lot. As a matter of fact, I didn't get my first pair of Jordans until I was like 32 or 33. And I remember thinking like, damn, why do I always have to, why every time something happened with black folks, I don't even own a pair of Jordans, but they always got to put us saying that because we buy too many Jordans, we don't get reparations. And hell, I think I have like 8 pair of Jordans. 6 of them I got for free. I think I only paid for. As a matter of fact, I paid for 2 pair of Jordans. I paid for 2 pair of Jordans my whole life, and the rest I got for free. But regardless of that, put that to the side. Say I paid for every pair of Jordans I got. The fuck that got to do with reparations? Because one thing I found out, because Larry, y'all know Larry got all the goddamn Jordans. This nigga Larry got so many goddamn pair of Jordans and in different colorways and stuff. And when he introduced me to the whole Jordan community about 10 years ago, because I never really paid attention to Jordans. I didn't like them, didn't dislike them. It's always been like whatever to me. It's whatever the fuck shoe you want to buy them. Fuck, what's that? Why is that my problem? What shoe the next man want to buy? But one thing I learned when I got in around that community with Larry, I'm having a bag covered over here. Hold on, let me go to my back. I'm going to my back porch. Man. Cover up my camera so y'all can't see out of my house. Man, I'm having major Wi-Fi issues. I got DirecTV coming back out here tomorrow. AT&T coming back out here tomorrow to fix my internet. There we go. There we go. There we go. Shit. Damn shame I gotta sit right next to my Wi-Fi box. I just got this new internet. My internet was perfect forever. I moved. This internet ain't shit now, my Wi-Fi. I gotta come sit right next to that goddamn Wi-Fi box. Well, what's up, Jayla? But when it comes down to it, look, people gonna buy whatever they buy. And the Jordans thing is an industry that if black people weren't so fucking stupid, our kids could be running that industry right now. You know? Because black children made the Jordan brand pop. Now, the rest of the world is on Jordans. When I go down Melrose Boulevard, when I go down Fairfax to see Flight Club LA, and I see Chic, the shoe store, you have all of these Middle Easterners and Asians that own literally boutique sneaker shops. Like, what if the black adults have the wherewithal to invest in our kids instead of criticizing our kids back in the 80s and the 90s? Black people could literally have the market cornered on boutique sneaker shops. But what do we say? We wear too many Jordans. We need to pull our pants up, which I don't sag, but if somebody want to sag, that's their problem. As an adult male, I have bigger issues to talk about when it comes to our children than them sagging their fucking jeans. Black people we were getting lynched in suits. So sagging jeans ain't our problem. Go look at them pictures when niggas getting lynched. It ain't one nigga sagging. And they always in suits. So instead of us embracing our babies and our youth and the trends that they push towards, we shit on them and criticize them. And Jordan's been has been the primary target of black people's criticism for the last 30 years now. And where has it gotten us? The sneaker market is a multi-billion-dollar industry because of black people, because of black boys and black men in particular. So anybody using Jordans as a trope, they haven't really updated their gripes, you're still stuck in the past. A past that we lost out on. A market that we had cornered. Now you have Asians and Middle Easterners making generational wealth off of something that black adults criticize the black youth for engaging in. Let's think about that for a second. So, Umar said, because of our spending habits, he said, because if I go to a Korean or a Chinese person, and one thing I will say, he did say he does not abdicate the systematic targeting of white supremacy targets us. He doesn't abdicate them, and I get that. But I also agree with there are things that we can do in house. I agree with all that. I agree with all of his solutions. I do. What I don't agree with is we needing to apply all of these solutions in order to get reparations. What I don't agree with is black people having to be perfect to get treated with some respect. That's what I don't agree with. I see this shit all the time. I see it all the time. Like what happened in Juneteenth. 2 or 3 black kids fuck up and steal from a McDonald's. Now all black people need to come together and do better. Like, no. I made this point today earlier on Facebook. And that point was the people who used to annoy me the most were like hood rat. And don't get me wrong, hood rats still annoy the fuck out of me. Y'all do. I ain't giving up. Hood rats still annoy me. But I understand the hood rat in a way that's a condition. And whatever. They'll always be here. What I don't like is the people who annoy me more than a hood rat now. Again, hood rats are still annoying. Niggas that play gangster, y'all still annoying too. I ain't letting y'all fake gangster niggas off the hook. All that banging and shit, and white folks is gentrifying our hood, and y'all ain't doing a goddamn thing about it. Y'all niggas are annoying too. But it's these self-righteous, I'm better than the rest of the Negro niggas. It's time for you niggas to calm the fuck down. Y'all ain't doing shit either to help us out. These are the kind of niggas that will watch white folks do all kind of treachery and debauchery and not say a goddamn thing. But then the minute a black woman wear a bonnet, something wrong with all of us. The minute a black person, a black degenerate does something wrong, it's something wrong with all of us. These kind of niggas can't isolate black problems to just those individuals. They see black people that are a problem and they want to group us all together. Fuck you kind of niggas. Y'all ain't shit. When what you really doing is projecting your own insecurities onto the rest of us. You don't think. Let's break these good for nothing Negroes down. I saw a post on Twitter, and it was a chick saying, "Yeah, what happened in the Crenshaw district? I didn't leave because I was raised in Baldwin Hills and Ladera Heights, and we know those kind of." I'm like, I was raised in the Crenshaw district and in Windsor Hills. I was raised and on the east side, east of the 110 freeway. I've been on 3 dramatically different areas of black LA. I've been east of the 110 freeway. I've been in where it's just all the way hood. I've been in the Crenshaw district where it's still hood, but people it's not poverty hood, but it's hood. And the 60s had cars. That's why they called it the rolling 60s. Them was the first niggas doing drive-bys. The 60s niggas was on the west side, so they had cars before the east side niggas. So the rolling 60s is roll up on niggas that yeah. That's why they called the rolling 60s. But I grew up in that, and then also late childhood, I went up into View Park where the black people with money were. And what I saw on all 3 levels was hardworking black people. The people on east of the 110 freeway, they were hardworking. They just had jobs that couldn't afford them to move west of the 110 freeway. The Crenshaw district, I saw hard-working people. They just didn't make enough money to live on top of the hill in the Dare Heights and View Park. When I moved to View Park, I saw hard-working black people who didn't quite have the money to move to Beverly Hills. But what I saw was hard-working black people. And what I got to see was no matter what people's income is, they work hard. So who am I to judge and criticize them because they're of a different economic stratus? Who the fuck am I to judge the next nigga because their job don't pay as good as mine? So I got to see it up close. And then my years working with kids in South Central, working in poverty. I never been in poverty. My parents, shit, I ain't never missed a meal. I don't know what poverty's like. I hear people talk about how black people are in poverty. Shit, my life has been great. I've always had the resources I need to get whatever I need. I haven't been able to, I don't have money, I never had the money to buy everything that I want. But I've always had more than enough to get what I need and most of what I want. So, but just because the next man is struggling and can't make it, how the fuck does that make me better than him? And so, because as black people, we all fucked up. We all stuck in the bottom of this prison ship, the slave ship called white supremacy. And we all deal with it on different levels. But to the black person that got a couple more dollars than the next black person, to shit on the next black person that don't have as many dollars as you, that's borderline inhumane. And oh shit, drop my microphone. And you will notice as I talk, because I'm getting high, eyes are going to get squintier and squintier as I keep going, as this keeps going. Excuse me. Oh, is that some of mine? Oh shit. No, that was just a little thing. My eyes are going to get squintier because I'm getting high. But I should go get my... Hey, what's up, Dr. Short? I was going to call you Dr. Short, too. We got to do another show together. But my wife is up there on the computer. I have to come out on my phone right now. If you down, Dr. Short, we can do a Twitter space or some shit like that later on today. Too windy. I wait till that wind die down. Yes, sir, Dr. Short. And y'all been asking me to do another show with Dr. Short. We just been, honestly, Dr. Short and I for the last month, we've just been missing each other. Like, he'd be down, and then my schedule get fucked up last second, and then I'll be ready, and then his schedule get messed up last second. It just, but we'll get to it. But back to what I'm talking about. These perfect Negroes. These Negroes that think that we need to be perfect in order to get what we want and get what we need. That shit gotta stop, man. We don't have to be perfect. We do not have to be perfect. Black people, get that shit out your mind. We don't have to be perfect. And hell, we're not gonna be perfect. It's impossible. Perfection is an impossible standard. We're not gonna get everything right. Now, we do need to become more politically astute. I agree with Dr. Umar right when he said that part right there, how black people have become basically these infinite infant children. Our society, in a lot of ways, is very childlike. I agree. I agree with all that. But that don't stop us from getting reparations. Shit, give me my reparations and I'll grow the fuck up. How about that? Like, why do we always gotta wait to get our shit? And this be coming from the niggas that have something. Like, I don't get this whole black people gotta be perfect to get two nickels to rub together. I don't get that. Hell yeah, Juneteenth. Oh, remember this. I'm glad you said that, Devontae. No, remember, it's Black Music Month. June is Black Music Month. That's where our pride is. I got my rainbow flag. I like the blues, nigga. I like... That's my rainbow, nigga. The blues. Nigga, this is Black Music Month. And we got pride in black music. And our colors, nigga. The color is the blues, motherfucker. All black music is the blues. So... Damn. It's still too windy to light this lighter. Damn. Shit. Hey, Evan, that's a good one. I'm going to do a Mixcloud. I found my system. I haven't done Mixcloud. Man, let me try to do Mixcloud tomorrow or Friday. I know I'm not going to do it tonight because I got a show tonight. And today, and today's the summer solstice, longest day of the year. Stand outside in the sun. It's the longest day of the year, summer solstice. So remember, so I'm not gonna do one tonight. I have a show tonight. Hey Larry, on the show I'm doing tonight, I think Ramona Stevens on it. Me, Ramona, and Esau. That shit gonna be funny. And so, no. All instruments are not all instruments aren't a drum. No, you have your winds. Your winds aren't drums. You have 4 elements in music, and I'm gonna get back to these perfect Negroes. All the 4 elements of life consist in music. Your drums are your earth element. Your drums and your bass, that's your earth element. Your winds, your horns are the wind element. And also the fire element. Your guitar is a fire element. The electric guitar. The keys are your water element. Earth, air, water, fire. It's the combination. It's the chemistry between the 4 elements that makes music. All right. But back to these perfect Negroes. I had told Larry a story earlier. I was on Facebook yesterday, and I commented on a friend's page, and she cool, but I usually on Facebook I don't comment on other people's pages. I rarely comment. I comment on Larry's page and like 5 other people. If you ain't one of these 5 people, I don't comment on your page on Facebook. Not because I don't fuck with you, but because y'all be having some weird ass friends. That's the thing with Facebook. Your Facebook friend would be cool, but they'll have a whole bunch of weirdos on their list. And it was they were going, again, talking about the McDonald's incident here on Juneteenth where those kids robbed the McDonald's and how black people need to do better and how and I just was like, do better than what? Like, who do we need to do? That's another question. When y'all say black people need to do better than who? What? Better than what? Okay, better. Better than what? In what area of life? There we go, goddammit. Like, do better than what? Than who? What group? Exactly. White people aren't the moral authority. I agree with Jayla. Humans need to do better. Someone said needs to do better than your own natural consciousness tells you to do. You can't You cannot go further than your own consciousness. You reach to your we only reach to the highest levels of our consciousness, just like we descend to the lowest levels of our consciousness. Now, somebody said better than what we're doing to represent black people with some integrity. Better than what who is doing. Who's weird. Better than what who is doing. Because if you ask me, Felicia Rashad, she represents black people perfectly. The black people in my neighborhood, I have some dope ass black neighbors. You know, we speak, we cordial. I'm married. I'm a male. I need to do better than who? I'm married. I don't cheat on my wife. We have a very loving relationship. Do better than who? Who do I got to do better than? Yeah, parents need to do better, but what if they can't? Parents can only pass down what they give them, what they have. You know how many people, just because somebody's bipolar schizophrenic, don't mean they ain't gonna have sex and not have kids. You got some parents that don't even have the tools. At some point, most of us know when we're not living up to our standard. Okay, but what does that mean, who thinks? What does that mean? That's a circular point. What is it like? What does that mean? At some point, most of us know when we are not living up to our standards. Most of who? Humans? Most humans don't live up to their standards. Like, that's why, and if this weren't true, that's why like less than 500 families control all of the wealth of the world. You got like 500 families with billions and trillions of dollars, and 99% of Earth fighting over the rest of the scraps. So that right there tells you at least 99% of Earth ain't doing the best they can do. So where we getting at? And I'm not saying this to criticize you. I'm saying this to think deeper. Like, cats repeat these cliches. Okay, if the cliche ain't getting you nowhere towards winning, why do I repeat it? That's right. What's up, Dukes? Man, I look at my man Dukes in the chat room. Me and Dukes went to high school together, and I lose contact with Dukes every 2 or 3 years because he has a son with muscular dystrophy. This black man has a college degree in accounting, but they don't like hiring niggas with professions like that here in Southern California. So that man had to move way the fuck to Colorado and then move other places with an ill son. And this man got an accounting degree. Who the fuck do he need to do better than? He in the chat room right now. Say hi to him. Who does Dukes need to do better than? Father taking care of his son. What's up, Star? A father taking care of his son with a muscular dystrophy who has a fucking accounting degree. And we need to do better? I ain't taking that because I'm black. So when you say we, you include me. Your wife has MS now too? Oh. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, bruh. Damn. I know your wife had MS too. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that, bruh. Then he said the standards are going to vary depending on what you're using as your foundation. How about the standard being mind your own business and do your best? And for the black people who ain't doing their best, have some love and compassion for them. Hold a space. You ain't got to hang out with them. You ain't got to have conversations with them. I don't kick it with extremely ghetto niggas. I ain't got time for that shit. When niggas get loud and stupid, I ain't got time to be around them kind of niggas. But I got love and compassion for them. I got faith that they're doing the best that they can do for themselves, and I'm on my own fucking business. Of course, standards vary because everyone is their own individual. You gotta play your own cards. Y'all know me, I'm a cardologer. Everybody has their own cards to play. Play your fucking game. You can only play your game. Look at poker, look at blackjack. Only play your game. You can't play cards for the next nigga. So while you judging somebody else for how they get down, you messing up your own hand. This nigga Larry said Alicia Myers ass nigga. Again, you keep saying we. Bruh, no disrespect to you. That's you that's not minding your business. Stop saying. If you keep saying we, that means it's you. And this isn't directly towards a person in the chat room. This is for anybody. This is for anybody listening. When people keep saying we is an indicator that they're not focusing on anything but me. But then they're focusing on everything but themselves. It's not. There is no we. It's only me. Through every me doing what it needs to do, the will take care of itself. You can't. And that's the whole point of this discussion I'm having right now. I'm glad these comments are being made in the chat room. I appreciate it because this goes back to our political agenda and how we need to become more politically sophisticated as a people. As we mature as a people and as we become more politically sophisticated, like what we'll understand is, as individuals will understand is, we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to agree on everything. But when people start to take care of themselves, you know what they'll say? I can use some reparations because every time I turn on the news and vote, I see a president giving money to groups of people. Hey, bruh, ain't nobody going to no goddamn Latin America. No disrespect to you, but well, if somebody, I ain't going to no motherfucking Latin America. I'm staying here in Los Angeles, California. Look at that sun, nigga. I'm going to no goddamn Latin America. I can't speak no Spanish, and I don't want to learn that shit either. Lekala, 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 lekala. I don't hear that shit. No, right here, America. You fight where you live. You don't run. You notice everybody that be talking about running to another country, they run their asses right back to St. Louis. We need to go to another country, and you take your ass right back home in Orlando, Florida, nigga. You go right back to Phoenix, Arizona, nigga. You be talking all that shit on Wi-Fi from Los Angeles, California. The fuck out my face. Tell me to move to Africa when you writing that message from Uganda, then I might listen. If you're right, Voodoo Glitch, paradise is a choice, not a place. You said, "Why I got to pick on St. Louis?" You know, I asked somebody in the audience when at the show, that the Hidden History show this past Saturday. They were from St. Louis, and they said the same thing. Like, why are you talking about St. Louis? I said, they gentrified a whole black neighborhood to build a goddamn arch. Fuck St. Louis, and they fell out laughing. Cause that's true. What that St. Louis arch is, that was a black neighborhood that they obliterated to build that bullshit ass gateway. So back to what we talking about. Where was I before I lost my point? Hey, chat room, help me out. I lost my place. I was talking about before we were talking about moving to some goddamn Puerto Rico, why so another fucking hurricane can come through, and then Donald Trump played basketball with the toilet paper. You remember that? When that hurricane came through, this nigga Donald Trump was shooting toilet papers. This nigga was straight up looking like Craig Elo. This nigga was, Trump had good form too. This motherfucker's elbow was straight. He was like, Trump was getting that toilet paper and was like, yeah. Fuck out of here. Oh yeah, perfect people. I was talking about that. We ain't gotta be perfect, man. We'll realize that's what political maturity is. Political maturity is saying, I don't even like that nigga over there, but I need reparations. So if me getting reparations means that nigga I don't like getting reparations, fuck it. Because I'm thinking about me. I'm taking care of my personal needs. Voting is voting is also a selfish process. Voting ain't no we process. Politics isn't a we process. Politics is a me process. And then when my me agrees with your me, we can come together around that we. That's the only time we exist. When my me and your me agree to come together, now there's a we. And we use this synergy to push towards a greater good. That's the only time we comes into existence. When you and I have similar ideas, similar thoughts, similar desires. And that's all politics is. You get groups of, even within political parties, the Democrats don't all agree which direction to take Democrats in. But you get an issue, and usually they coalesce around wedge issues. And wedge issues are generally things like LGBTQ issues are usually wedge issues, political wedge issues, environmental issues are political wedge issues, immigration. And wedge issue is, let's create an issue to create a wedge between the other party, and we're going to exploit that wedge to overtake the other party. So how government works is government doesn't use real issues for wedge issues. Like here's a real issue. If Americans were thinking properly when it comes to voting and taking politics, we would have our politicians create a bill saying no corporations can own single-family resident homes. That's an issue that I think every red-blooded American that doesn't own a major corporation can agree with. There are a handful of people, only a handful of people who would agree with major corporations owning single-family residences. What's up, man? The reason why property is so expensive is because major corporations are buying up all the single-family resident homes. Outside people. We should have a rule saying foreign investment firms cannot buy property in America. That will be something that white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, anyone who's been in America for more than 2 generations would agree with. Because if something like that passed, the housing bubble will burst. Housing in Los Angeles, houses will go back down to $200,000. Houses in the South will go back down to $50,000 and $30,000. Housing in New York will go down. All that stuff will go down. But we don't get to those kind of issues because politicians create these things called wedge issues. And the wedge issues are, it used to be gay marriage. Now that gay marriage has been passed, but gay marriage was been a wedge issue since the 40s. I'm sorry, I said 40s, since the 70s. Now that that's gotten passed, that's sort of morphed into LGBTQ rights. Transgender rights is a wedge issue. Immigration, wedge issues. Republicans use that because Republicans don't want to take on corporate fascism, because they are the corporate fascists. So since Republicans represent the corporate fascism, well, both parties represent corporate fascism, but Republicans represent it proudly. Their wedge issue is immigration. Corporate fascism and corporations outsourcing your jobs and corporate downsizing, that's not the reason you don't have a job. You don't have a job because of those immigrants. And that's partially true, because the immigrants take the jobs that are left over. So what they do is they take that half-truth, because it is half-truth that immigrants take our jobs. It is a half-truth. But the bigger truth is go back to the 80s and the 90s and all that corporate restructuring and corporate downsizing. Pay attention. There used to be like 50 different airlines. Now it's just basically United and American and what? Continental merged with United. And it's like 5 airlines. It's like 2 or 3 cable companies. It's 5 media companies. Throughout the 80s, you had those corporate takeovers and mergers and layoffs and restructuring. So the real reason why most Americans don't have jobs is because of corporate restructuring, because of greed to funnel money to the top. And so now you have Americans working 50 and 60 and 70-hour work weeks when there's enough jobs for every American to live there's enough opportunity out there and enough money out there in this economy for Americans to work 30 hours a week and afford housing and get 2 months of vacation a year. But the reason why we as Americans don't get that is because you have a few people at the top who siphoned all the money to the top. And now we need toll freeways, because in the Eisenhower years, the wealthy got taxed 93% for every dollar they made over $10 million. And of course, they could write some of that stuff off, but the tax rate was 93% for every dollar made over $10 million. And it was something like 60% for every dollar made over $1 million. It was something crazy like that. So because the taxes were like that, and the corporations, of course, they paid more, because if they didn't pay more, they would have gotten taxed the money anyway. And the money that got taxed built the interstate freeway system. It built all this corporate structure that we have. Hell, our taxes pay for the internet to get dug up under the ground. But we don't pay attention to none of that shit, because we allow these fucking corporations these politicians to create political wedge issues. Why am I saying all that? It's not that just black people are children when it comes to politics. America is children when it comes to politics. We be thinking these white folks know better than us. These white people, they don't know shit. These illegals getting all these rights. You think illegals organizing is the reason why they getting these rights? No, it's the fucking corporations that want that cheap labor. They're paying for this shit to get done off top. And then you get these niggas saying black people gotta be perfect to get what we need. Fuck you. No, we don't. Do we need to get smarter? Yes. But I'll take us where we are right now, fighting for something that we need, because we're doing something different right now as black people. Our fight for reparations is a fight for a need. We're not being distracted by political wedge issues. These so-called people who we say are organized, the LGBTQ is organized. Hell, if they was that organized, they would have been fighting for the same shit that I'm talking about. Because you wouldn't need all of these special privileges if these motherfuckers were fair to begin with. But because these other groups are so caught up in political identity, left, right, blue, Republican, they just as fucked up as we are, people. Doc Ball said it's not going to happen, reparations. Well, this is what I gotta say to that. Somebody said that they weren't gonna get your mama's drawers. But at 16, one nigga hit it, and since then, every nigga on the football team been hitting it, all right? Just because it ain't been hit before don't mean it ain't gonna get hit. That's the point of what I'm saying. There's never gonna happen reparations. If you don't get your failure ass out of this chat room with that bullshit. It's never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen when niggas like you around. Get the fuck out of here. Go with them other defeated ass niggas. I ain't got time for that shit. It was all kind of niggas at her church, at her school, was like, I'm gonna get that. And she turned all them niggas down. And then one day, the assistant soccer coach came, and he told that much up. And she ain't been giving it up ever since. All we gotta do is crack it one time. Once we crack that first reparations crack, it's like a dam. And it's a strong dam too. But all we gotta do is, we gotta take life philosophy in, man. How did the sand degrade from a rock to the sand? Through millions of years of water droplets constantly grinding on it. It's how boulders break. Boulders break. It take 1,000,000 years of a waterfall to go over that rock. Somebody said, I just don't want to hear the facts. First of all, I can't hear you because you're typing. And you can't say it's a fact because it hasn't been proven. Groups give reparations all the time. Reparations have already happened on different levels. Do you know that in 2012, dummy, residents of Chicago got a reparations package? Why? I think it was a $300 million reparations package that was spread across like 60 families or something like that. Because the Chicago PD practiced waterboarding tactics, the same waterboarding tactics that they were using in Afghanistan. All of that stuff was illegal. And from 1969 to 1983, the Chicago PD was engaging in these tactics. So the city of Chicago, Cook County, had to pay an over $330 million reparations lawsuit. You dig? Reparations have already gotten paid out to the Japanese. The LGBTQ get reparations now. Do you know that President Obama passed a law, I think it was 2013, that because gay people were denied marriage, any gay person that filed for marriage before 2012, they would do a reparations package in the form of back taxes, going back to when they tried whenever they filed their civil union. So there are gay couples that Joe Biden put out a press release to last year saying, hey, you guys haven't received your reparations package. Make sure you file for this. So reparations gets paid out every day in America. So to say it's not going to happen is just... The only reason why it hasn't happened yet was before lately, we would let niggas like you be the loudest ones in the room. Most of us felt intrinsically reparations could happen, but the minute some Negro came in saying reparations is never going to happen, we'd often allow that person to be the loudest one in the room. And now it's our mistake. We allow people to tell us we're not going to get reparations. And we then turned our political energy to President Obama, the Democrat Party, people of color, minority rights, and we turned our attention to that. And that's what we got. We got exactly what we focused on. So the question is, if we've gotten what we focus on, what if we change our focus? Are you in here?
No, I just came to get my water.
Okay. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I gotta, close that. All right. I don't want y'all seeing my dirty ass apartment. I haven't all the way moved in yet. Because I've been out of town, what, 2 to 3 weeks I've been living here? But, so if we've already gotten what we've focused on, the question is, what if we focused on something different? Will we get different results? I got these cars from this brother in Umar Park the other day. These are nice, aren't they? That's a funny one, Anthony Bolton. He said, Doc Barcelona says, we are our own worst enemy. Quick commercial break. Who wants a quick card reading? First person to ask me a question. Ask me a question. Somebody in the chat room. Real quick. And then we're going to get right back to it. I just feel like my cards told me to answer somebody's question. But, let's see about reparations. Let's see if I can pull a card. Well, reparations happened this. Six of clubs, okay. Somebody asked me a question. This shit nice though, ain't it? I buy my ham on the same corner your mama sells her twat. I buy some ham, and then I watch a nigga buy your mama and go ham. Let's see. Should you get surgery, Kenya Pierre? Oh, the Joker came. That means there's no answer for that. Unknown caller. What's up, Sid? My nigga Sid up in here. Somebody said, where do I buy my ham? I buy ham, a Hawaiian punch, while midgets buy your mama. That's what I have. That's what I do. Yeah, Joker's a wild card. Your surgery is a wild card. But Trump be found guilty. Three of Hearts. That's the card of emotional imbalance. That tells me that no, he won't. Or if he is found guilty, it'll be some shit that he'll plead out on and won't serve a time in jail in. Will they say to people, oh, the submarine? Oh, I'm glad you talk about that. Hey, let's talk about them submarine people. That shit, I'm sorry. Am I wrong for like, I don't want to laugh at them. I'm not laughing at them because that's fucked up. To be trapped beneath the water in a little pill, that's fucked up. But why the fuck would you get in some unapproved submarine? Ace of Diamonds came up. That's a renewed way of, possible. It's possible. But like, why would you get in the submarine? See, again, this goes back into black folks saying we need to do better. What kind of people want to go to a shipwreck? Like, let's go back. Let's go back there. What's up with white people and the Titanic? Gotta roll mullet in my weed. Keeps the lungs clear. Pink runts. That's what this is. Pink runts. And I got it mixed. I got some purple too. See that purple? Y'all see how purple that is? Compare and contrast. Look how the green runts, the pink runts, and the purple. That's what we smoking on today. I'm not smoking this purple. This shit puts you to sleep. I ain't smoking this shit right now. That shit, I gotta smoke this. This shit puts you to sleep. Now where my grinder at? So let's talk about that for a second. They talk about how we need to do better. All right. What's the psychology of a group of people that's fascinated with a shipwreck like the Titanic? I swear to God, like just like a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, I think Memorial Day week, sometime like around Memorial Day, because I think I was in Dallas at my cousin's house, and it was something on the TV. Well, not on TV, it was something, I saw like a preview or something, and they were talking about like a new show chasing the shipwrecked Titanic and documenting the Titanic. The Titanic went beneath the ground 100 motherfucking years ago. And you got a group of people that will practice white supremacy, take money out of your pocket. Their parents fought for laws to take money out of your grandparents' pockets. Because mind you, white supremacy isn't a system that's it's not just a benevolent system that just operates on its own. It's the people actively operate the system on a rank and file level. You got these wealthy people that the reason why wealth is so exorbitant these days is because wages are suppressed. They'll rather suppress your wages, your grandmama's wages, make you work all these hours a week so they could chase a fucking Titanic. They're just the mindset of these groups of people. And you say we're our own worst enemy? And then you got people willing to spend $250,000 each to look at a ship where people die. At the end of the day, the sinking of the Titanic was about people dying. And you have people spending money hand over fist to basically watch a gravesite. We need to do better than what? Better than who? People who chase grave sites, and now they got the whole world at suspense, wondering what's going to happen. Wondering what's going to happen to some people who got their wealth out of a period in time where wealth distribution is at a higher rate than during the Gilded Age. And we got niggas saying we need to do better. Here's the other thing they say. They be like, here's the other cop-out niggas say. They be like that. They be like, I don't care what white people are doing. I just want us to do better. Nigga, I want us to do better too. But study basic sociology 101. Basic political science, cultural anthropology, social anthropology. There's so many different soft sciences and hard sciences that talk about this. As above, so below, the law of correspondence. Organisms are within a system are going to behave in the same manner of the dominant system. If the dominant system, meaning, and dominant ain't about your feelings, you sensitive niggas. People like, I don't like using the words like supremacy and domination. Who the fuck you pay your taxes to? That's who dominating you. They don't look like your black ass. Well, anyway, the people you pay your taxes to, the people that run the system, the country that you live in, they are of a certain color. And not only of a certain color, of a certain region of a certain color. Anglo-Saxon white males, WASPs. White Anglo-Saxon Protestants. This is something that when we aren't around as black people, when it's just them white folks, this is something that Italians understand, the Irish, the Greeks, even the Germans. In America, even the other white folks know when the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male walks in the room, everyone else shut the fuck up. The Chinese know that. And that's where I had an issue with what Dr. Umar said. He was like talking about the Chinese and the Japanese and the Koreans. They don't respect us because we spend all the money in their neighborhood. Black people, we ain't got to, fuck they respect. I don't respect the group of people that got their own country, but they still listen to what these crackers tell them to do. I don't respect you for that. How you got your own country, but you got to listen to these white folks and their maritime law. And you got your own fucking country. You got your own country that you can't even fucking fly over. If these white supremacists say, hey, it's a no-fly zone over your own country, you're going to listen. You think I ain't worried about what the fuck they think? They don't even control their own fucking country. Oh shit, I'm watching the news report. Lake Shasta's back up to normal. Cool. Me and the wife got to go up to Lake Shasta again pretty soon. I'm sorry, I'm watching the news. But so that's what I'm saying. We don't have to worry about what other people say about us and think about us, because they fucked up too. It's a few people in control of this thing. And black people fighting for reparations, we're the first group that's saying, okay, you know what? Fuck your political wedge issue. We want our reparations. I don't care about what's going on with LGBTQ, right? Y'all cool. I don't stand against y'all, but reparations. I don't care about what's going on in the Ukraine. Reparations. That's another reason why reparations is so dangerous. Because here's the fallout. Let's talk about the fallout to reparations. And another reason why we ain't got to be perfect. White folks, America having to pay reparations will be the beginning of the end to a global system of domination. Because the same way the world takes their cues from us musically, stylistically, how we walk, how we talk, how we dress, they also take heed to our revolution, our revolutions, and our revolutionary spirit. They follow our lead when it comes to that too. It's the reason why Muhammad Ali is a worldwide hero. Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Frederick Douglass. You got to realize, Marcus Garvey was inspired by Booker T. Washington. It's like no matter how far you back you take it, they always inspired by one of us. So as long as we stay focused on reparations, what that's doing is torpedoing political wedge issues. And political wedge issues is how the government controls the mindset of the populace. They create the issues and tell you these particular wedge issues are your problems. And while you fight over these wedge issues, immigration, while you fight over these wedge issues, LGBTQ stuff, these non-tangible wedge issues, we're gonna do what the fuck we wanna do. But when we talk reparations, that's not a wedge issue created by the think tanks, by the political think tanks. When we say cash reparations, that's not a wedge issue for political think tanks that comes out of there. That's something that they can't control. That's us playing real politics, creating the issue, not following the issue. Here's another reason why we don't gotta be perfect. We ain't gotta be perfect. We don't have to be perfect, y'all. Here's another reason. Vice President Burr killed the Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton during the early days of the United States. The earliest days of the United States. The creator of the Treasury, the Vice President, had a duel. The Treasury Secretary, the $10 bill, Alexander Hamilton, was killed. He was no more. I don't advocate violence. Our issues aren't even that deep to where we're killing each other over the issues. We just have disagreements in what the issues is and how the issues get done. Ain't nobody getting killed over this shit. If the United States was able to still get built and become a successful Jack of Diamonds nation, when the vice president killed the Treasury Secretary. That means we can infight and still get reparations. Sorry to break it to you. Building a nation is much harder than getting reparations. I promise you. See, it will be different. It would be different if the politicians were offering the populace tangible rewards and psychic rewards. It would be different if the government was saying, okay, we're going to make the internet a public utility. We're going to make cable, we're going to make all these utilities so that in the energy prices, we're going to cap the rates. And if the rates go over this certain amount, we're going to subsidize it to all of the American populace. This they do with sugar and those type things. If the government was about that, was about being for the citizens, then at that point, I'd listen to people from other races and other black people tell me to stop fighting for reparations. I'd probably consider what you said if we had a government that taxed the corporations and the wealthy to a point they tax that we can get our roads paved in a timely fashion and freeways expanded with the expansion of our cities. If the government was doing things like I said, nationalizing, making laws saying houses can only be bought by families, that would reduce the price of housing 800%. We all know the problem, though. Well, we all may not know, but the science already proves the problem with the housing crisis is corporate and international people buying up single-family residences, driving the price up. If the government was looking out for the population in a way, say, FDR, see what you really need to do, if you're from another culture or even if you're black and you don't like talking about reparations and you want to see where I'm coming from, study Franklin Delano Roosevelt. That he was the closest ideal of a president. I'm not saying he was perfect. Yes, he was racist like the rest of them, because when the New Deal got passed, they made sure to cut out jobs that black people did. That's why the farming industry and the dining industry aren't covered under like a lot of your working laws. So we got to know that we got to look at what a president that's really out for the people. That's why if you notice, I noticed this shit when Obama was running. When Obama was running, I noticed they compared him to Reagan a whole lot. And they would never really talk about, like, they notice watch when this election cycle comes around. They're not going to go before Reagan. They may bring up Nixon because Nixon started all this shit, a lot of this shit. But they're not going to bring up Jimmy Carter, because when Carter was in office, there was no homelessness and no hunger. You had mental health institutions. shit's all fucked up in Black America, but at least under Carter, um, Carter made sure the wealthy paid their fair share. But they never talk about Roosevelt. They never talk about Eisenhower. They never talk about those presidents. So if you want to get me off reparations, I'm not saying this will work. Well, the only I'll 1/3 of the way listen is if you're talking about a politician in the way of FDR that's doing things and putting tangibles in the pockets of all Americans. If that's truly happening, then I'll talk about reparations less. Still talking about reparations though. So the thing is to become the will keep beating the drum of reparations. There is no organized singular unit, and nor should you be looking for one. Because every time we've done things in an anytime everything is organized in a singular fashion, that gives them a direct target to shoot, niggas. Do what I did. Here in California, when that dude, Stephen Bradford, my local congressman, said that he doesn't think cash reparations is it, I emailed him right away. I be on that nigga head. I speak about it. I make that my political agenda. You keep squeaking the wheel. You keep squeaking the wheel. And there are an infinite amount of barriers in the way. And to people with self-defeated mindset, they'll see the barriers. Fine. Look away at the barriers all you want. I see the goal. I just say focus on the goal. Anytime I engage in politics, reparations though, what you got to say about that? And there are other people who have other ways. Well, one thing I don't like is a whole bunch of people saying, listen to me and not them. You better listen to your fucking spirit. Nobody has all the answers, but all of the answers lies within everybody. Let me say it again. No one person has all of the answers, but all of the answers lies within each and every one of us. Keep beating the fucking drum. The answer is when people come around talking about all of the problems, then like, okay, well, since you see those are the problems, come back to me next week with solutions to those problems. Because that's nothing. We talk reparations, you don't get that black person. See, the problem is, and this and that, and that and this, and this and that. Talking about, I remember hearing my niggas saying that they're never gonna give reparations to black people because black black ain't a real group of people. We need our Morris or whatever sovereignty. Well, how the fuck do gay people get reparations and they're not a private nation? LGBTQ ain't a nation, they got reparations. But all throughout the 80s and the 90s, I'd hear niggas saying, we're not gonna get reparations because we're not a nation. And you need to become a sovereign nation to get reparations. Well, LGBTQs ain't a sovereign nation and they got reparations. So what now, nigga? I don't even agree that I hear what you're saying, Omar, but Tariq and Umar don't need to come together. That's nothing. We as black people, and this isn't directly towards you. This is overall because I've been hearing that a lot. Like we be looking at this shit like wrestling. Like when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man got together, that shit was great. The Hulkamaniacs. If you watch wrestling back in the 80s, when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man got together and they were the Hulkamaniacs, that was one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. When, but in real life, we don't need them to come together. Yeah, the Mega Powers, that was their name. Super Nintendo, the Mega Powers. Yep, the Mega Powers. The Mega Powers was like the greatest moment in wrestling history. And then I'll never forget my first time in Dallas. I'll never forget this story. I think it was 80, whatever year when the Mega Powers broke up. I was in Dallas with my grandmother. This is in the late 80s. And I was at my Uncle Raymond's house. Uncle Raymond lived in Oak Cliff. On a nice home, beautiful home too. And I remember watching wrestling. And then that's when Macho Man was knocked out and Hulk Hogan picked up Miss Elizabeth and walked her back to the locker room. And Macho Man was like, Hogan, you hot dogging Hogan. You snake Hogan. You're a hot dog Hogan. Yeah. Yeah, Hogan. Ooh, yeah. I remember I was heartbroken as a kid. I was like, no. The Mega Powers, come on, man. The Mega Powers could be greater than Magic and Kareem. I'm thinking the Mega Powers is gonna be better than Magic and Kareem. I'm like, no, they broke up. That broke my heart. So that's how a lot of you niggas felt when Tariq and Umar went at it. Y'all niggas was heartbroken like me when the Mega Powers broke up. Me personally, I was enjoying the roast sessions back and forth. The clowning. Niggas was like, man, see, black people, we can't never come together. I'm like, shit. We don't need to come together with jokes this goddamn funny. Let me tell y'all something. Black people can disagree like a motherfucker. Most presidents and vice presidents don't even get along with each other. Especially the way they did when they brought in what's his name for FDR. Was it Truver? Was it who? I said Truver. Was it Truman or Hoover? I think it was Truman. Or was it Hoover? Look up. Hey, chat room, help me out. When President FDR, his third election, who was his vice president? The person that they brought in last second. I be drawing blanks of the names of these white folks sometimes. Truman, I think. Yeah, LBJ couldn't stand the Kennedys. He was their vice president. It was Truman. And who was the vice president before Truman? What was that white man's name before Truman? The vice president for FDR during FDR's first and second term. What was his name? The vice president before Truman. Because how Truman got into office was the other white guy, and I'm drawing a blank. I wish I had if I was on my computer, I'd pull him right up. Because I know his face and everything. I got his face. But look up FDR's first vice president. Man. Anyway, or look up the mega. What happened was how Truman got to be the vice president was that was Henry Wallace. Henry Wallace. Henry Wallace used to actually work with A. Philip Randolph and getting black people employed in government. Henry Wallace was one of the early progressive white dudes that I'm not gonna say he wasn't a white supremacist, but I will say that through his political agenda, he did not practice white supremacy with his political agenda. And when the New Deal came, he fought for black workers to be included in New Deal policies. Well, when it got to FDR's third term, his health was failing, a lot like Joe Biden's, and they knew that there was a good chance that FDR would not survive a third presidency. Henry Wallace had more of a populist. Henry Wallace was like the last leftover politician with a populist ideology. The populist ideology was let's do the greater good for the people. And if that means black people do well, so what? It's not that the Populist Party fought for black rights, but the Populist Party was all about the rights of the people over the rights of the corporations and the mega. So Henry Wallace was because the Populist Party achieved its prominence in the 1890s. By the time you get to the early 1900s, the Populist Party is almost all but dead. And Henry Wallace was not a Populist Party member, but he did hold a lot of Populist Party ideologies. It did not offer, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, y'all. I got somebody moving in one of my units today, and tomorrow the person that's supposed to be cleaning the unit just texted me. I saw it drop down on my text. Said that they won't be able to clean the unit today, so that means the tenant won't be able to move in tomorrow. What the fuck? What was I talking about? I'm at this point that I got to get back to. I got to get to working. I got some people moving in. I'm sorry, I just got my text message drop down, and the person that's supposed to be here in an hour and a half just told me they can't make it. And I was hesitant on using this person because they flaked the last time. Fuck. We might have to give them a cleaning fee credit. Well, anyway, I'm gonna finish this point. What was I talking about? Henry Wallace. Henry Wallace, and America knew Henry Wallace would have been. Henry Wallace was more progressive than FDR. And America didn't want to get that goddamn progressive at that time. So in the last second vote, this is back when the vice president was chosen by the convention, before the president chosen vice president. This is when the vice president had to be nominated. In an 11th hour vote, literally like a midnight vote, when Henry Wallace couldn't be there, they voted in Truman as the vice president to FDR, and FDR died in office. And Truman basically was he was the first version of George Bush. For those of us who survived the Bush years, 2000 through 2008, Bush basically dismantled this country in a lot of ways. Well, they put in Truman, and Truman started sabotaging a lot of New Deal policies right away. So the New Deal never truly reached its potential because Truman, the following president after FDR died, basically went into dismantling those policies right away. Why am I saying all this? Why am I saying all this? In today's world, in today's America, nobody cares about self. It's all about political wedge issues, political party, race, yada, 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 yada. We as black Americans, as we declare our reparations and stand 10 toes down, we're bringing about a time of the populace, the American, the people that are politically engaged, naming the agenda, and the agenda being surrounded in a tangible asset. That alone will change the tide in how American politics works, because we are the lead. What's going to happen is other groups are going to see, hey, even LGBTQ folks are going to be like, hey, all this voting on my private parts ain't doing nothing to decrease these property values, ain't doing nothing to widen these roads. People, even gay people adopt kids and need daycare. Even so, what this is going to do is it's going to get other Americans more engaged in tangibles from the government, and that's fine, because if people are more politically engaged and they're engaged in issues that we can all benefit from, like the end of corporate housing, when we can do things like feed and house the homeless. As a matter of fact, not only feed and house the homeless, retrain the homeless for jobs. If we can have our corporations stop sending their jobs to China and putting the jobs in the prison system. California alone, the state of California, don't hire regular old people to work the fire because it's the prisoners fighting the fires. Hell, fuck outsourcing. The prisoners get all the good jobs now. The prisoners make the cars, do the customer service phone lines, fight the fires. The jobs that got paid $100,000 a year to do out here in the world, prisoners are getting paid 75 cents an hour to do. If the American populace gets on these issues, that's good for all of us. You're right, Ben Frank. Ancestors are watching us. Our ancestors fought and fought and fought and fought. Fought for 15, 20 generations to get out of enslavement, man. They did that shit for us. And it's no disrespect to anybody else, but y'all didn't help my great grandmama when she was locked in them chains. No other country came to help. And that's just facts. Nobody helped with Jim Crow. Black Americans didn't get political asylum for dealing with, we built a whole fucking, we take 10, 20 years to build a town and it get burnt down in a day or two in government sanctioned violence. My ancestors didn't go through all that. My grandmama was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That means my great grandparents were there when the shit burned down. My great grandparents were adults when Tulsa happened. Mr. Foster and Gertie Mae Biggers, they were living. And Mr. Foster were living in Tulsa, Oklahoma when that shit happened. They didn't go through all that for me to give up. You get whatever you focus on. That's law. That's law. That supersedes all this politics and political science. That's universal law. You get what you focus on. That's why when people say we can't get reparations, I crack a few jokes on them, and then I get back to focusing on reparations. I'm not focusing on you negative niggas, because I get what I focus on. There's a California couple killed at an EDM festival. Headlines on the news right now. California couple killed at an EDM festival. So that means so they're going back and finishing, this is how I started. Let me go back so y'all see what I'm looking at. Let me show y'all what I'm looking at. This is my dirty ass house. Hey, don't this nigga on the news look like Smokey Robinson? Look at this nigga on the news, Kai Goldberg. Look at this nigga. Get this old quiet storm ass nigga off my TV. How is Smokey Robinson looking like? How is Smokey Robinson the newsman in LA? Every time I see this nigga on the news, I be thinking, soft to warm, a quiet storm, quiet as when flowers dark at the break of dawn. A power source, tender force, generating, radiating, turn me on. See in LA, look at this. Hold on, man dies after crashing scooter into a light pole. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't be laughing at that, but but look at this headline I just saw. We cannot put into words pain. Family mourns California couple killed at EDM festival. Niggas don't go to EDM festival. That nigga said, tears of an anchor man. Do, 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 do. Although I try to keep my sadness in, smiling in a public eye, but in my lonely room I cry. The tears of an anchor man. Oh, some good weather here in LA. We finally got some fucking sunshine. It's been a consistent gloom in this bitch. Do, 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 do. This nigga, we got the weatherman. Like, this how dope we are in LA. We got the weatherman that be singing that song. One heartbeat at a time. Close your eyes and let your soul unwind. This nigga, we got the weatherman. This nigga was over there singing, my mama showed me you better shop around, shopper. Oh yeah, you better shop around, shop, shop. See, look, that's how dope we are in LA. We got my mama told me you better shop around, nigga, as the anchor man. Hey, Paul Ray, they said look, man, they ran their scooter into a light pole. I wish they wouldn't. That's sad. I don't like seeing people die, but how fast was you going to die hitting a light pole? Them scooters don't go that goddamn fast. Like, and he couldn't like jump off the scooter and like, hey. Did he see the light pole? Like, was he like riding the scooter going, ha, ha, ha? Oh. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. But like I just said, ending this out, you got somebody that's about to, some people that die at an EDM electronic, somebody died at that festival. No one died on Juneteenth. And you got people saying black folks need to do better. Do better than what? Black people, we ain't got to be perfect. We just got to beat the consistent drum of reparations. And do it from all angles. Do it politically, your local politicians, your national politicians. Make it a voting issue. Make it a word. Put it into the lexicon. Never minimize the power of propaganda. See, what happened is people will tell you, you think you're doing something because people are talking online. Yes, everything starts with words. Everything that exists around us is someone's words. This wall, the color of this paint, this new paint that we got, somebody said, I want to make a color that looks like this, and they made it. This couch, this fucking pillow, all this shit existed in somebody's mind before it was spoken into existence and then carried out. Everything, when it came time for the United States separating from England, that took an over 100-year process. England established its first colony in 1619. The United States wasn't established until 1776. They were rebuilt over taxation without representation going back to the 1660s. Go look up Bacon's Rebellion. The United States was rebelling against Mother England for over 100 years before it got its independence. Everything starts with the word and putting it in mind and making it a mass consciousness. And once it gets into mass consciousness, the creative individuals within the mass will come up with ideas. And most ideas won't work. All you need is one to work. And after one works, the next works. And then the next works. And then it becomes and takes on an energy of its own. I appreciate that, BB Rodriguez. Yeah, because we got to apply metaphysics to this shit, man. Like, the metaphysical aspect, the metaphysical / spiritual aspect undergirds your physical activities. They're not separate. You get people that be like, I don't do that metaphysical stuff. And then you got the metaphysical people saying, people are too concerned with earthly matters. Look, metaphysical niggas, you own Earth. So you gotta participate in what the Earth does. Look, you niggas, you're also a spirit, and this avatar that you are on Earth is the smallest portion of what you are. You have ancestors, and you have the cosmos at your support. And so you take the understanding of the metaphysics, of the spirituality, or whatever you choose to practice, and you use that understanding to support your physical earthly agendas. You use that to push earthly agendas. You don't go worship the Lord and then go over here one day and be like, I'm worried about everything. Nigga, worship the Lord, and then know if you read that Bible, if you are a Christian and you do read that Bible, and the Bible says, I got your back, then nigga apply that principle to go get if you believe the Bible got your back, then go fight for reparations, nigga. The Bible said it got your back. Metaphysics, you say the universe got your back, the ancestors got your back. You say law of attraction, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Now go attract some goddamn reparations. I like. I'm gonna touch on because I gotta get off. I gotta handle my shit, so I gotta get off in a second. But you brought up Cornel West. Cornel West, one I like the fact he's running as a political disruptor. He's running to take votes away from the Democrats. I might vote for him just for that reason, just so they lose. He's the Ross Perot. If Cornel West is successful, he'll be what Ross Perot was in '92 and '96. Put off just enough votes from the Republicans for the other guys to win. Cornel West could put out just enough votes from Biden to fuck up the whole Democrat agenda, and I'm with it. But I got to get to, man, I wanted to be with y'all a little longer, but my cleaning person that's supposed to be here in an hour for my tenants that are moving in tomorrow. Anyway, black people, we ain't got to be perfect. Just keep pushing. And like I always say, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages. Hit me up. For the members, if you've gotten a card reading in the past and you want the discount on the memberships to the card readings, hit me up. If you want to take my class, How to Read Playing Cards, I have it. Email me if you want the course. I will be doing personalized follow-up, but you can get this past Sunday's course. Email me if you want to learn read your own playing cards. All right? Go to DwannBrown.com for all the good shit. I'll holler at y'all.